Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have quite a bit of cool gaming news to go cover up with you guys as of today. Now, as you guys do know, we have the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man 2 coming out in the very near future. We actually now have, once again, really big expected release dates. We actually have some gameplay leaks too as well, kind of floating around. We also have some Final Fantasy 16 crazy news. We have some billion-dollar acquisitions. We have brand new games coming out. We have brand new games getting rated. And as well, we're also seeing some really bad gaming delays, like a lot of really big news stories coming out over here for a lot of games I'm intrigued on, so hopefully you guys will be too as well. And of course, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys hit that sub button, leave a like if you guys want to, give me your thoughts and comments down below. And of course, we have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow, and of course, all the Amazon links for the consoles and everything else in between. So let's go and dive into the news. So very first and foremost, we actually have some really big news when it comes to number one on Spider-Man. Now, as you guys do know, Spider-Man itself is going to be probably one of my most anticipated games. Really looking forward to Final Fantasy 16 this year, and really looking forward to basically Spider-Man 2. These should be both pretty much confirmed as of this year, and we have had a lot of both leaks in terms of the expected release date as of fall, and of course, we've also had them also confirming that 2022 is pretty much going to be locked on, and by that I mean 2023. It seems weird that's my bad on that one. We're basically doing some time traveling over here, but basically it's pretty much locked on in. They've had it officially confirmed on that. So one big thing to know is, as we go through this, it does seem like Spider-Man 2 actually might have some big gameplay leaks. So basically, Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 may actually have a very similar now gameplay style to Ratchet & Clank's Dimension Shift feature. If you guys never played Ratchet & Clank, which I do encourage you guys to, is a very good game, basically the game itself would have like almost like with the SSDs loading, you'd essentially have a brand new area that could basically be like almost like a multiverse slash like brand new segmented verse or whatever that you can go and somewhat seamlessly travel between two depending on what's going on in the boss fights and all of that. And as you guys probably know a lot when it comes to basically Spider-Man, also Spider-Man like the multiverse, you know, the Spider-Verse itself, and that same thing is that there's just a lot of like transitional periods between like where you're at, what's going on, what characters you're using, and this also might be a really big gameplay leak when it comes to Spider-Man itself. So let's say this is more of a leak slash rumor, but Marvel's Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 will reportedly come with the dimension shifting feature stated Insomniac Games' Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. The feature, which was widely praised when it was announced in 2021, allows players to literally move between different areas then simultaneously and instantaneously too as well. So this is a very intriguing factor too, because it basically lets us take advantage of the PlayStation 5's SSD and load out to a lot of other various regions and areas and make it look and seem a lot cooler. So basically just kind of adds a lot more depth, a lot more vibes into the game itself, which I think is very nice. So I wanted to go and say, is Marvel's Spider-Man 2 part of this multiverse? The aforementioned rumor comes from a longtime YouTuber hip-hop gamer, and while they can't necessarily say entirely like it's 100% true or not, they do at least have some sort of a history itself too on top of that. But they go and say that basically the second part for this one is more questionable though, although based on the gameplay would make a lot of sense and the speculation. So according to them, Spider-Man 2 might be part of a multiverse, but it's unclear on that one based on more so pure rumors, or if also just more based on this kind of like multi-dimensional shifting or not too as well. But a lot of folks have been kind of talking about this and kind of bring up the actual conversation of it because the idea of it would make a lot of sense. As you guys probably know, Spider-Man 2 is, I believe, planning on having multiple Spider-Men, just based on the trailers, based on the gameplay. You have Miles Morales and the original good old Spider-Man himself. So you have all of that tied together, and once again with the brand new Spider-Verse movies that have been doing very popular, it would make a lot of sense to either have like different universes, different characters, or simultaneous gameplay going on, or maybe you're doing one mission on one side and doing one mission maybe on the other side, depending on what you're doing in the game, how you're playing the game, and everything else in between. And as well, some folks are maybe saying they don't like the idea of that, where they don't want to have like a multiverse or having to be on top of multiple characters. Just want to have a nice, good, seamless, linear gaming experience. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. It would make sense with multiple Spider-Men, and basically at the same time, like I said, might be doing different side missions, different story missions, or just basically maybe have just a transferring between the characters. Depending on what's going on, it makes a lot of sense too for Spider-Man. As of right now, it still kind of seems like we're seeing a lot of confirmations too, that Spider-Man should still be, or most likely should be, still set for around the September or fall time for this year. So a lot of folks are curious in this one too on the pull parts for part 2 of this, which is on now for the Suicide Squad. Now, in case you guys are curious, this game has been going through some double whammies. Number one is it was actually delayed right after the most recent state of play for a little bit later on throughout this year. But as of more even recently, it has now been pushed even to 2024, so basically a whole nother year now on the delay. Now, I think this is good, mainly because the game itself was not good. It didn't look that good. I like the idea of it and premise of it, but these kind of lifestyle type games are not usually my favorite. They're not always like my 100%. So I saw this and I see all the games and they're not bad, but I really do think you need a lot more time in the oven to cook. And it is kind of nice that they notice this, they get approval to delay it, and hopefully the game itself will be better. Some folks are saying though, for the delay for this game, it might be more so to remove this always online issue. And I do believe that's also a big issue too, because a lot of people like playing games on single player. They enjoy playing the game. They just want to sit there. They just want to not have to worry about playing with other people online, matchmaking, or whatever. If it's a fun single-player experience or couch co-op game, just want to enjoy the game from there and go from there. But they did make the decision now to go and to lay out the game, and it just kind of makes a lot of sense. I just don't think the game itself is really looking that good. It needs to be worked a lot better. It also kind of goes and ties into because it also could have been corresponding with, say, a Spider-Man release date potentially. And if you have one huge superhero game, such as a Spider-Man game, people are buying that instead. People are going to be playing through that instead. So why do you want to have another different type of superhero type style game? And it's also not even the main superheroes themselves. It's just not really worth the competition. So that also might be part of it too. It's maybe a triple whammy. They realized the game wasn't doing that good. They realized that they're going to have a lot of big competition. It's just not worth it at the end of the day. It's kind of like the Horizon effect. We have to go deal either with Zelda, or we have to go and deal with other really big major RPG type style games, which never usually wins too much at the end of the day for them. Now, for some other kind of big news too as well, Armored Core, which I'm actually extremely hyped up for, has actually now been officially rated in Korea. Now, Armored Core is actually going to be, hopefully, I've never played one of the other prior games, but the trailers and everything else too looked absolutely insane. Armored Core itself, the Fires of Republicon, are looking kind of cool. So once again, this game is potentially due out for this year. We've seen some official trailers, and the trailers themselves look phenomenal. The graphics look great, and I'm just pretty excited for the game. And now that's officially been rated, typically that means that the game is pretty far into production, and a lot of things are going overall pretty well with it. So as of right now in Korea, it has been officially confirmed as of very recently, and it should be overall really good gaming news for this too as well. So kind of cool. They've also even had a comment down here below stating that typically games come out a few months after the ratings are fully approved. So we'll have to kind of go and see if that's going to be sooner rather than later. Might be one of those really fun summer games where everyone's like, oh, cool, look at this, it's coming out, blah, 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 blah. And we go from there. Now, last but not least, we have two kind of quick stories. Number one, as of right now, Sega is apparently trying to go and buy Angry Birds for some god knows reason. I have not really seen too many people talk or play or do anything with Angry Birds for quite some time, but apparently it's still worth $1 billion with the plushies, the games, and even I think they even made movies or stuff like that, like a weird Netflix type style show or whatever. But basically, Sega is now about to go and acquire it for $1 billion. Now, I think they may regret this unless they do something super crazy with the IP, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a lot of money. So basically, they had a primarily bid before from basically Platikia for around $750 million, but the Angry Birds maker themselves confirmed last month that the talks for them have ended, and then it also started up even more different talks over here too as well, that Sega might be trying to go buy the company for rounding up to around $1 billion or so. Very intriguing to go and see how this kind of plays out, and as well, it just kind of shows that people apparently still care about Angry Birds for God knows why. Now, last but not least, some kind of cool news to go and wind down and cover for this one. It does seem like Final Fantasy 16, which if you guys also just saw from the State of Play yesterday, if you guys missed it, it's on the channel itself. Final Fantasy 16 did go and overtake now apparently almost every other game right now on the Amazon's sales chart. So just in case you guys are trying to go pick up games overall, or kind of curious on what people are excited for, it does seem like a lot of folks are excited for this Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm going to end up playing this on my Twitch stream if you guys want to follow that down below. But it does seem like right now, especially after the most recent State of Play, that Final Fantasy 16 is, well, very, very sought after. We're seeing number 4 for the normal game and apparently number 1 for the deluxe edition, which is also actually quite surprising. I mean, at least in my opinion, I'd probably typically assume the deluxe version would get less actual details. You guys would also go look at overall, seeing like NBA 2K, Final Fantasy, Star Wars for the deluxe edition. It's kind of like what I said, I'd probably be expecting the more expensive one to be a little bit less sought after. Resident Evil, which has still been kind of good. Dead Space as well, still a fun experience. Sonic Frontiers, which also did have some press announcement and leaks earlier on this week, which is still doing number 8, God knows how. I have no idea how this game's doing so well. I barely see anyone talk about it, played or whatever. And of course, Dead Space, which I also did, Island, which I also want to go play myself, in case you guys are curious on this one. And obviously some other games such as Hogwarts or Persona, and some of these other various games still are pretty okay. Even Atomic Hearts 2 as well, surprisingly, Saints Row 2, in case you just want to have a quick little glance through on this. So, some kind of cool gaming news on top of this. Would love to see your Spider-Man news as well with all these big leaks and everything else in between. Just want to say I appreciate you guys always so much for watching. Make sure you guys definitely go and subscribe with the notifications on. We'll have a few more videos all throughout this weekend. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We have all the Amazon links. We have the Target links. We have everything else all down below. And I would love to hear your thoughts and comments and everything else we talked about all throughout this video. Thank you guys for watching.